try again. That's the best advice that you can ever commit to. Kind of very easy advice. Try again. You are trying to build something. You try the first time, it doesn't work. Don't be scared to try again. See, this is the thing that most of us do not have the power to do. You want to try a business, you set out, you kind of do a lot of stuff, buy inventories, and you realize that nobody's buying the inventories that you have spent money, to buy. Very depressing. And you kind of have the feeling to just give up and never want to try again, I'm telling you guys, if you are trying to build something, if it's a business, there is almost every guarantee that your first attempt is going to just, be bad. You're going to try it and realize that it doesn't work. Even if you have gotten the kind of, guru mentorship or whatever it is, you might try that business and there's every possibility that your first attempt would not be good. A lot of us, we tend to give up at this point. I'm telling you, see, this phone I'm using right now was bought almost at the same time my son was born, 2017. And I kind of documented his life up to this very moment on this phone. And one of the videos on my phone that I tend to want to look at all the time is the video of him trying to learn how to walk. It's very funny because it all started from, crawling and gradually standing up, taking the first step, not being sure of what the first step is going to bring, trying to run in the process, trying to walk and run and falling down 100 times. And each time he falls down, there's something that happens. He gets up, he wants to try again. You see, the universe has coded this process like that. Sometimes you're trying to do something. A young man, young woman, trying to build something, trying to learn a new skill. And the first attempt at learning that skill kind of sucks, disappointing. You read the books, you read the manuscript, you read everything, you prepare yourself, if it's a business you are starting, you get a warehouse space or you set out, only for you to realize that even though the preparation has been so good, for one funny reason or the other, nothing worked. Depressing, like I said, you want to give up. I want to tell you today, you want to try again. Sometimes it takes a little while for you to be able to get back on your feet again. Not like, unlike a little child that just falls down and immediately the child, kind of gets up and try to, make the next move at walking or even talking. Sometimes it might take you a little bit of time to get back on your feet again after a major fall. You start a business, the little money that you have saved, you have actually, put it all in on the business, buying inventories, renting warehouse space, getting all you have to get to ensure that the business works. And one way or the other, the business fails, and sometimes it might take you 5 or 6 months, 1 year, if you are very lucky. Some people fall or fail at starting a business, and the earliest time they can actually start again or bounce back might be years, 2 years, 3 years. But my advice for you is, as soon as you can get your feet on the ground again, start trying again. Learn from the mistakes that you have made. If it was a business, learn from the things that didn't work and try to start again, because one way or the other, you can never tell when the universe is set up already to make your dreams come true. And if you do not start, you do not try again, you might be leaving a lot of opportunities on the table. I'm telling you from my own experience. Every advice I'm giving you on this channel, these are not things that I have just, read for some book, trying to put it, trying to make a video out of it. These are things that have actually happened to me. And this is one of the reasons why I do not tend to use scripts on these videos, because this is a life that I have lived. If you follow my channel, you can pretty much see that I sell used computers on eBay. And for me to have gotten to the point I am now, I'm telling you, it was a series of trial and error. But for one reason or the other, I just kind of was blessed, to be able to always try again. Always try again. Doesn't matter, buying inventories, everything, getting messed up. You get items and you think that, yes, you're going to make a kill from the transaction. Maybe for you to realize that, man, you are even going to lose money and you're going to be struggling to get back your original investment. Try again. You set out to sell online and things are not just working. So many policies, so many regulations, and sometimes you get beaten by some of these organizations. You try again. This is pretty much what I did, for a very long time. And I kind of realized that if you do not give up, definitely there's every room for you to be able to make it happen. If your goal is to make, 10,000 euros, 5,000 euros, whatever amount it is at the end of the month, it's going to be possible. If only you would not just, give up and stop trying. This was the reason why I felt like this is something I can actually, remind you again, because the problem is some of us will hear a lot of this advice and sometimes we think that they are not, actionable advice. We think they are just talk in passing. I'm telling you, if I had given up 2-3 years ago or 4 years ago, I would not be here today to be able to, tell you for certain that, look, if you do not give up, if you keep trying, you can actually make that thing happen. Don't be so quick to giving up, That is the greatest undoing you can actually, give to yourself. If you are so quick at giving up, situations come around, and because they are not what you are expecting, boom, throwing the towel, and that's all. Sometimes you might be starting an eBay business from nowhere, boom, eBay blocks your account. For no fault of yours, you could be trying to start selling online as some disgruntled buyer, like I call them. They buy something very expensive from you, and they scam you in the process. It's a possibility. I'm not saying it's something that happens all the time, but it is a possibility. It's something that can happen. Try again. You can never tell, once again, when the universe is going to say, this guy, we see this effort that he has been putting in, we think is actually a good thing for him or she to be blessed, to get that which he is looking for. But if you do not try, you get beaten one time, and all you have to do is to go back to your room, you cover yourself up with a blanket and never ever try again. And even when opportunities comes up for you to be able to, try again, you tell yourself, last time I actually had, difficulties setting up this business. I failed woefully. I do not want to do it again. I'm telling you, you are doing yourself a disservice. But the moment you say to yourself, yes, I failed before, it's not the end of the road. Since I am still standing on my feet, I am not going to give up. I am going to keep trying. I am telling you, my friends, you are setting up yourself for success. And don't get it wrong. Sometimes you might have to put in a lot of work in trying again. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of determination to actually say, you know what? I have failed before, but I do not care. I am ready to start again, to try again, to give it all it takes. And I'm telling you, from my experience, you might be surprised what lies on the other side if you just, give it a little more push. Try again. Let that be, something that you'll be reminding yourself of this week. Today is Sunday, a new week is starting. Even as you go out, constantly remind yourself, try again. I failed before, yes. I tried at reselling, it didn't work, yes. I tried at learning a new skill, it didn't work, yes. I am going to try again. Let that be something that should be ringing at the back of your head. Because this is what works. You need to motivate yourself. You need to keep giving yourself, reasons to not give up. Because if you give yourself, or if you tell yourself that it's not possible, you're going to find 1,001 reasons to give up. It's going to be a constant struggle. It's going to be a constant reminder, and your ability, to tell yourself over and over and again, drop it in your head, drop it in your subconscious mind. I am going to try again. It doesn't matter if I failed before. I'm going to try again. This time around, I'm going to make it happen. See, some of these advice I give you guys is something I am actually doing myself. These are not things that I'm just telling you that you cannot actually go ahead and practice, or things that I am not also constantly, trying to remind myself every day, every time, keep reminding myself in my business, in my content creation journey. I keep telling myself, even in my family life, keep trying again. There is going to be a light at the end of the tunnel. If what you seek is money, you're going to get it if you do not give up. If what you seek is happiness, if what you seek is success, whatever it is, you are going to get it only if you do not give up. I feel like this video is going to be helpful to somebody. If that person is you, please do me a favor. Go onto the like section, click on the like button. Do me a favor, click on the like button. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe. Until I see you again in the next video, peace out.